What is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I is, the good doc, Dr. Mike, back again, once again, with another classic video for you guys today. Sincerely hope that everybody's having a blessed one. If this is the first time you're watching a Dr. Mike TV video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you notify, make sure you check out all of the links listed in the description area below. Ebooks, email, everything that you'll need will be listed there for your convenience. Patreon, PayPal, everything that you will ever need in reference to the good doc will be listed in the description area below. Now, today I wanted to take time to share this quick story time with you guys as we speak. I did end up sharing with you guys recently a story time about how I watched a woman get robbed in Manila. That was a bit of a dramatic experience, but, you know, having that happen as close to you as possible kind of fuck with your head a little bit. But today I wanted to share with you about the time that a very close friend of mine got robbed while riding a jeepney. Now, this is the craziest fucked up story that could ever happen to a person, simply because it happened. All right. And towards the end, I'm going to give you guys some tips on what I would recommend you guys do when it comes to riding the jeepney system and things like that, just for your FYI, just for your information. Now, my best friend, close friend of mine, no name needs to be mentioned. I hope he doesn't get mad at me for sharing this story. But while we were living in the Philippines, he always had access to a car. He always had his own car, you know, and just before he was about to leave, he ended up selling his car. Now, when he sold his car, or even before he, you know, had a car, he was always taking taxis. It was taxi everywhere, okay? Now, he sold his car and ended up receiving a down payment, 20,000 pesos for the car, right? The one time that he decides to take a Jeep, because he never took Jeeps ever, was the time that he actually got robbed. So he was on a Jeep. And, you know, if you guys know how the jeepney system works, if you guys have ever ridden a Jeep, if you know what the Jeeps are like, it can get very, very crowded on the Jeep. So when it's crowded, you know, people are on top of each other. You're kind of, you know, squeezing in, and you're trying to fit as many people on the Jeep to make money. At least the jeepney is. So in that respects, you're kind of in a very, very small space. You know, you got to scoot over as much as you can to make room for everybody to fit on the Jeep. Now, in the process of doing this, my man had his 20K in his side bag. He never had a bag like a book bag. He never had a man purse per se, but he always carried this handheld bag. And for some god-awful reason, I don't know where the placement of this bag was, but he told me that he kept feeling this guy like nudge up against him. Like he kept feeling him like push up against him. And that's not uncommon on the Jeep, especially when they're trying to fit as many people on the Jeep as possible. So he kept feeling him move around and wiggle around and stuff like that. He wasn't paying attention. Again, I don't know how this happened, but this is exactly how it happened. So he kept feeling him nudge up against him. Next thing you know, he was relieved when he, you know, signed that he was ready to get off the Jeep. In order for you to sign that you're getting off the Jeep, you tap the little bar thing that's on the top, you know, or you let somebody know, look, I'm trying to get off the Jeep. You either call out, what do they call out? They call out, dito na lang, or like stop here, or para, or, you know, something like that, whatever. It just depends on where you are. So you kind of signal that you want the Jeep to stop. All right. Whether you call it out or you know, let them know. So he was relieved when this man got off the Jeep. Now, probably a minute later, I guess not a minute later, but a minute he went into his bag to try to get some change, you know, to pay for his own, you know, departure from the Jeep. And that's when he realized that the person sitting next to him had taken the money out. He knew it was this person, but again, no disrespect when I say this, but in that particular situation, he wasn't really paying attention to what the guy looked like. So if somebody would have asked him what he looked like, he probably would have just said he looked like every other Filipino person that he's probably ever come across. Again, that is not racist. It's just that when you're not paying attention to the person next to you because you don't really care, you're not really making eye contact like that, you just don't remember things like that. So he ended up getting taken for 20 grand. That's in pesos, roughly translated about 500 US dollars. Don't care. That is a lot of money. And he was really, really bitter about that one for a long time. And so would I, you know, and if it ever happened to me, like I said, I lost 500 pesos. I'm mad. I lose 5 pesos. I'm a little in my feelings over some shit like that. So I shared this story to tell you this. There are a couple of tips that I recommend you guys take into consideration when riding the Jeeps. And if you have anything else you want to add to the comment section down below, please feel free to add. When I ride the Jeep, I never ride with a lot of cash, okay? I always keep all of my money in my pocket. I never keep loose money in my pockets. I have a change purse. So all of my money is in a purse. Like, it sounds gay. I'm sorry. My little change wallet, whatever. But whatever it may be, everything that I'm going to use for the Jeep is in this particular place. That way, when I pull money out of my pocket, it's already in this enclosed case. Now, when you keep loose change and money in your pockets, makes it easier for you to lose it. I'm not saying that people are going to rob you for it, but it makes it easy for it to fall out. Or, you know, if you have loose bills like 20s and 100s just in your pocket, makes it easy for you to lose that stuff on the Jeep, especially when you're fiddling around looking for change and stuff like that. So it makes it easy for that stuff to fall out of your pocket. So always carry like a little change wallet, something that where you can keep all of your bills or whatever you're using for the Jeep and keep it all together. Again, we all know Philippines is a cash-based system. Of course, riding the Jeep, don't come on the Jeep with like 500 pesos. Don't come on with 1,000. 20s. Stick to 20s and some coins. Make sure you have 20s. Make sure you have coins, because you do not want to recommend, or you do not want to rely on the Jeepney guy to give you back your change. What I've noticed as a foreigner riding the Jeeps, they never want to give me back my change. The only time they give it back to you was when they realize that you speak the language. Now, I've given a 20 before, and the Jeep ride was only 8 pesos, so I will tell them cambio sa 20, which means change for 20, or cambio sa 20, or whatever it may be. They need to know, well, for my particular respects, I'd let them know, look, I speak your language, man. Y'all better give me my change. Now, when I ask for that, they would ask you, where did you get on? So that they know where you're getting off, and they can make sure that they're giving you the correct change back. But yet and still, make sure you give exact change for the most part, because I hate it when these people don't give me back my money. I'm very, very sensitive about that shit. I'm not going to give you no 12 peso tip, even though it's just 12 pesos. It's the point and the principalities of it all. It's my change, and I want my damn change back. So make sure you have exact change. Make sure you can make exact change, or at least let your girl or whoever is riding with you, because normally you wouldn't take the Jeep by yourself unless you're an adventurous person and you know your way around. You normally wouldn't ride by yourself. So if you do have a companion or somebody with you when you're on the Jeep, let them pay for it. Let them tell you where you're getting on or getting off. See, me, I like to impress the bitches on the Jeep. Sorry, the ladies. Sorry, the ladies on the Jeep sometimes with my flexible range of Bisayan and Tagalog. You know, I kind of like to put a smile on people's faces when they hear the foreigner speaking a little bit of the language. You know, people look at you sideways like, oh my God, he speaks the language. And it does add for a little bit more of a conversational piece sometimes when people hear me speak it. So again, I'm not perfect, I'm not fluent, I just know just enough to get around. Okay, so again, like I said, make sure you bring exact change, or as close to exact change as possible, just in case they don't give you back your money. Make sure you keep all your money in like a little change wallet. Definitely make sure that you keep your bag, whatever, tucked into your lap. Like if you have a book bag or something, I take my book bag off and I cuff that bitch. Like I hug that mug like I'm hugging something. I don't know, whatever you would be hugging. Hug it like you mean it, you know, hold on to your stuff. Sometimes I fall asleep on a Jeep. I fall asleep on a Jeep quite often because I be tired, especially during the school times when I used to get home late in the evening. I used to pass out on that Jeep, but I never had shit. So there was nothing for people to steal from me. And I never really had an issue of getting robbed. I did drop change before that I couldn't find, but that was about it. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I shared that to share this. You know, there are a couple of tips that you can definitely use to your benefit when it comes to protecting yourself when riding the Jeeps. Of course, I encourage the Jeeps simply because it is for the adventure purpose only. But if you have a lot of stuff with you, stick to your taxi cabs. If you have a car, whoop-de-doo, good for you. You know, there's a lot of things to take into consideration when it comes to the jeepney system, but as a foreigner in the beginning, I would not be mad at you if you choose to just take the taxi cabs around wherever you are, the motorbikes, if you're in a smaller area that doesn't have taxis or Jeeps and stuff like that. I'm not going to blame you for it, simply because who can blame you when, you know, you don't really know your way around. You have to know your way around the Jeepney system in order for you to actually get on it. Last thing you want to do is get lost. And I say that to say this, ladies and gentlemen, the good doc is officially out. Thank you for paying attention to me and my nonsense. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Just wanted to share it with you. Quick story time plus some tips that I hope will be beneficial to anybody who chooses to ride the Jeepney system in the future. Okay, also make sure you subscribe, notify, make sure you leave comments down below if you have any questions or anything that you can add to the video. I would love this to be a very informative video, so let's make sure we bring a little bit more, you know, information to the table if need be. And I say that to say this, the good doc is officially out. At least Nako Paalam, which means we're going now. Bye bye. As always, love you guys. Mahal kita, mabuhay. Peace.